What is up, my friends? It's time for AMG 55. On our way to 100. When we hit 100, we're going to have a party. David promised a party, so that means there's like 2% chance we're going to have a party when we hit 100. Let's all get in the comments and tell David to keep his promises, because that's an important part of manhood. Anyway, but that's all I'll ask right now. Right now, let's just focus on getting his chess up. So here we go again. David is white this time, and we got a C3 Sicilian again, this time with David is white. Play G6, he plays D4, I take, and rather than recapture, he makes kind of like a Smith-Morra gambit out of it with Bishop C4, Bishop G7. Here he could take. I just looked at this briefly, and if I have to play something like D6, then white definitely has a big advantage because he has the space advantage. And yeah, I mean, maybe not a big advantage, but I mean, this is like very pleasant for white. This bishop's unopposed, shooting down here. Yeah, white just has space. So black should probably play D5 here, and then he'll probably win the pawn back, probably. Especially if pawn takes, but if bishop takes, I mean, it's tricky. I guess you could try to win it back right away with E6 and then take this guy, but let's see, E6. Then what if it just takes now? Takes. What's the problem here? Yeah, knight B5. And yeah, this bishop's kind of awkward here. He wants to stay on the diagonal, but now he has to cover this. If here, I believe this is a blunder. Is it a blunder? F4? I guess it's not a blunder because we can counterattack. Anyway, I'm getting a little far afield. David just kept developing in the spirit of a gambit, not taking back. I play E6. Usually this move is not recommended when you fianchettoed because it kind of makes like Swiss cheese or kingside. But here it has a specific plan to play D5 and gain a tempo on this bishop. So white castles. White's nicely up in development. He's up like 3 tempo, which is probably why the engine says 0, because the rule of thumb is 3 tempi is worth a pawn generally in the opening. So I develop my knight. He pins the knight. I develop my other knight. Queen D2 and now D5. Getting a tempo on the bishop. Takes, bishop. Bishop goes back to D3. And I castle. So, yeah, it's about equal. Here, David spends a tempo trying to exchange bishops, but yeah, which you do a lot in these dragon structures, but here white's also castled kingside, so this whole like huge attack on the kingside is probably not going to pan out. I develop, threatening to trade. I mean, not really threatening to trade so much, just this bishop's got to go somewhere, and maybe bishop g5. Engine says take, but I don't really want to take. Yeah, I guess this is not really threatening. It's threatening to double the pawns, but well, white can always just do this. So yeah, bishop f5, and now h4. This is not really to be recommended because again, white's also castled kingside. So yeah, I'm not really sure about this attack. Usually, opposite castling in Sicilian, you want to attack like this. So yeah, better engine record just recommends this like board line where white just trades everything, and yeah, both sides have isolated pawns. Black's better developed, but his king is also a little weaker, so engine says it's equal. But anyway, h4, and yeah, here let's see, after h4, I take, he takes, hitting my rook, he takes my rook, and instead of him taking my rook, queen takes, king takes, And yeah, black can finally now take the pawn and be a pawn up. Um, and black's better because he has extra pawn, but white has a tiny bit of compensation because this is an isolated pawn. So that's what should have happened, but instead, for some crazy reason, David moved his bishop. But remember, I just took a rook, and he didn't, so that means I have an extra rook. Yeah, somehow I have an extra rook and a piece. No, just an extra rook. But I mean, that's pretty good. And yeah, I guess maybe David thought I was getting mated, but I'm not getting mated because of this knight. So if queen here, then I can just play knight f5. Okay, he can take my queen, but I can also take his queen. And yeah, that'd just be winning because I'm up a rook. So David lashes out with g4. I just move my queen out of the pin. So again, if this time if queen h6, I can just take this bishop. So now he gives up the bishop, but that gives up all hope of like mating me over here. I just played f6. Engine's like recommended stuff like queen e4, but when you're up a rook and you're totally winning, like it doesn't. Don't worry about what the engine says. If the engine says like just play this and then trade queens, like yeah, don't worry about what the engine says because the engine like has no fear and it can calculate and there's no risk the engine's gonna like blunder into some mate, but you're human and you can, so why not just play it safe? Yeah, and here I'm trying to trap the queen, and yeah, this can just be taken. I have a million pieces around my king. He just has the queen. These guys are still at home. Another reason why h4 is not like a good attacking move. You have to have all your pieces to attack, or at least more pieces than your opponent. So I just take, and then here, I don't know why I played queen f6 trading queens. I could just win the queen with knight f7. This is a common trap. Like I think I actually referenced this in another AMFG, where the queen goes like going crazy trying to attack, but actually gets herself trapped. So here the queen has no moves up and down, and all the side moves or unavailable. Engine says this is the best move, which isn't a good sign. But instead, I trade queens, and yeah, this is just totally winning. Yeah, David blunders his rook, and there's mate. So yeah, I don't think that this opening is really optimal for white, and it definitely this combined with h4 is not correct. Um, Eventually, white should just take back in the center and then just have maybe a tiny advantage or equality. Yeah, I mean this is why this move more is that good because black can just decline the pawn and then eventually white will have to take, and then it's like kind of like a bad version of c3 Sicilian. So yeah, h4, bishop h6, not well timed because you're down on development, and then just the blunder, I guess going for mate, but not realizing it's not going to be mate. That's the main thing I could say. So I am going to take a break now. I'm trying to make 1 or 2 per day, except next weekend I'm going to be away. So, but I'm going to try to get back on a roll with these AMFGs. It could be good something after I work out. I like usually work out around midnight, 1 in the morning. Get myself in a good mood, and then come back and do an AMFG. Unless it's like Friday, Saturday night, then I'm going to drive Uber. So thank you for watching. Hope you get something out of each and every one of these videos. If you do, make a comment. If you don't, make a comment. If you have a complaint or a request or anything else, make a comment, and please subscribe and like. Thank you.